The Domestic Violence Act of 2007 made a provision for a domestic violence fund to support victims. However, it has been difficult to operationalize the fund. Now, the Upper East region has become the first in Ghana to start a support fund for victims of abuse. This was after the Widows and Orphans movement, together with their partners, started an account with some seed money to raise funds for the purpose. Unlike the National Fund, which will cater for a number of issues, the Upper East Regional Support Fund for Victims of Abuse will only support the medical bills of the victims. Correspondent Albert Sori has more.
Under the Domestic Violence Act of 2007, a domestic violence fund was instituted with the aim of supporting victims. A sum of 50,000 Ghana cedis was deposited in the fund 12 years ago. But since then, efforts by civil society to get governments over the years to put more resources into the fund have proven futile. The Widows and Orphans movement, a non-governmental organization based in the Upper East region and working to support widows and other underprivileged women, has therefore decided to take an initiative to start a regional support fund for victims of abuse. Fati Abigail Abdullahi is Executive Director of the Widows and Orphans movement.
The Widows and Orphans movement, as a member of the Women's Rights Network in Ghana, together with other organizations, have been calling on government to fund the domestic violence fund. And so even as we continue to hold the state accountable to ensure that they are performing this mandate, the Upper East region, reflecting on the poverty rate here, which has translated in high cases of domestic violence, thought it wise that we start the fund here.
She said the fund will only cater for the medical bills of victims, and they will have to go through due processes to prove that they actually suffered abuse before they can be supported. An initial amount has been deposited in the fund, and individuals or organizations willing to support can donate to the fund.
So the fund is going to be managed by SHRAJ, Department of Gender, and the Widows and Orphans movement. These are the three signatories to the account. We have established the account to which people can donate at Fidelity Bank. We equally have a Voda Cash number where people can donate to. And so we are not being too ambitious to operationalize the regional fund to do what the national fund is supposed to do, but we are focusing on just medical care for survivors of violence. And so we are equally making it simple for people to access it. We are using the existing protocols, which is the case files of social welfare and the Form 20 from the legislative instrument of the domestic violence LI to operationalize the fund. So survivors can either go to social welfare or domestic violence unit to report the cases. They will do the assessment, and if these people do need help, that is they are poor, they earn below the minimum wage, and they are survivors of violence, then the committee comes in to assess the funds.